So these are some of the things we're going to learn about. And one of the questions I get all the time, and we hear these numbers, right? We hear bankruptcy chapter 7 and chapter 11, chapter 13, and the differences. Give our audience, Richard, if you would, the general differences between chapter 7, 11, and 13, if you would.
Okay. Chapter 11, let's expose that one first. It is essentially a corporate reorganization. That's what you hear the old Eastern Airlines doing. You hear large corporations reorganizing by filing a Chapter 11, whereby they arrange to pay their creditors a agreed upon sum in order to be able to go forward with their business. Chapter 11 can be used individually on a rare occasion when Chapter 13 is not available to a consumer because of certain dollar limits on filing Chapter 13.
Okay, so Chapter 11 versus a 13 would be based on dollar amounts of amounts of liability, etc. in some cases.
In a rare case, generally a Chapter 11 is for a business.
Okay.
And a Chapter 13 is for an individual. But a Chapter 11 can be used for an individual who has debt structured and that's what they're allowed to have in Chapter 13.
All right, so Chapter 11. So Chapter 13 then will be described as?
Chapter 13 essentially is a personal reorganization. It's probably the most prevalent bankruptcy right now because it's through a Chapter 13 that you're allowed to reorganize your mortgage payments to some extent. You are able to catch up on all of your arrearages over a prolonged period of time rather than having just to come to the bank or the lender's demand that they need X amount of dollars now. For example, if you're $30,000 behind, you can catch up on those arrearages over 5 years while paying your current payment. So it gives people a chance to stay in their home. It's not an option that the bank can say, I'm not going to accept that. Okay, it's through the court's controls that a plan is developed, and in that plan, the bank or the lender is told how they will be repaid.
Okay, so in essence, Chapter 13 is a payment plan.
Right, Chapter 13 plan is created by our office, which determines how and over what period of time the creditors are paid back. I'll tell you the one thing about Chapter 13 that is very, very impressive and helpful for the consumer is that under many circumstances we are able to get rid of a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit in totality. Just get rid of it. And the basis for that would be if your mortgage balance on your first is greater than the value of the home, we can get rid of the second mortgage, the third mortgage, the fourth mortgage.
Let me stop you there if I may. So you're saying that if you go through Chapter 13, that if you have a second mortgage on your home, and the balance on the first mortgage is greater than the value, then on a Chapter 13, a second mortgage can be wiped away.
A second and a subsequent. You could have a second and third, a HELOC, you could have anything that attaches to the home.
Okay. So does that include any liens from like a homeowners association or anything like that?
The homeowners association has a different kind of claim. They're entitled to be paid, and if they're in arrears, they can be paid through the plan as well. But they also have a right to foreclose just like a lender. So you can handle catching up on your homeowners association plan, but you can't get rid of your obligation to them.
Okay, got it. All right. Chapter 7.
Chapter 7 is a liquidation. Again, it's consumer-oriented to the person, but it can be done for a corporation who's closing their doors. But because of that kind of rule, we'll focus on the individual Chapter 7s. As I said, it's a liquidation. You have to qualify. As of 2005, there is a new test that's put in place that determines whether or not you can do a Chapter 7 or whether or not you will be forced into a Chapter 13. If we assume that you qualify for a Chapter 7, which basically means that you're not making more money than the thresholds that are established by the government, the IRS, and the county, then in that chapter, Chapter 7, you get rid of all of your dischargeable debts. The whole process takes from the time you file until the conclusion about 3 months. Now, people always come to my office and ask me, what debts can I get rid of, what debts can't I get rid of? The debts that you can get rid of are called dischargeable debts. The debts that you cannot get rid of are called non-dischargeable. And some of the non-dischargeable debts would be child support, alimony, most student loans, debts incurred by God, those kinds of debts that don't allow you to get rid of.
Okay. All right. And